It's time to accelerate. Hi, this is Andy. Welcome to another edition of Frontline Friday with my regular and very special guest, Bridget Gleason. Now, before we get to the show, Bridget and I have a favor to ask of you. We'd really appreciate it if you took time right now to leave a review for this show on iTunes. And while you're there, click the button, subscribe to Accelerate. Make sure you get Frontline Friday automatically each week. Also, we need to hear from you. More specifically, we need your sales questions. What can we answer for you? What challenges do you have that we can help you with? So go to accelerate.fm/frontline and enter your question there. Each month, we're going to select one listener's question to be the question of the month. And the winner will receive a $50 Amazon gift card. So remember, go to accelerate.fm/frontline to give us your question and maybe win $50. So Bridget, how are you today?
I feel fantastic. It's not saying that I am fantastic, but life is fantastic. How's that?
Life is fantastic. Fantastic.
Life is fantastic. Life is good. You know, Andy, you had been in the hospital not too long ago. Life is good.
Life's always good.
Life is good. When you're not in that, life is good.
Yeah. By definition, life is good when you're not in that. Yes, that's for sure. So, summer's approaching. I thought we'd talk about summer. It doesn't feel like summer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like summer, does it?
No, because in New York today it's 59 and cloudy and rainy, and feels like about 45 degrees. But
okay, and here in Boston it is 53 and cloudy, so it doesn't feel exactly like summer for the California girl that I am. Have been.
Which one? Take a choice. You either were, you have been, or you're going to be.
I was, I have been, and I'm going to be.
Okay, there we go. Covering all the bases. So here's the question for you.
Yes, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. I can hardly wait.
So, do you need a special summer sales strategy? I mean, people go on vacation, buyers are gone, they're not traveling with their kids. I mean, is there something you should have done to prepare ahead of time, or is there something you need to do differently during the summer in order not to lose momentum? I mean, you see sort of the seasonal trends, first quarters, second quarters, better, third quarter flat, fourth quarter, we bring it on home. Always the big quarter. But does it have to be that way?
Well, I think most of the companies that I've been with, we've talked about seasonality. So I would think about it. I do think about it. I think about it as a manager. I think about it as a VP. I thought about it as an individual contributor. When people are vacationing, and how do I plan accordingly? I don't know that I would say it's a different strategy as much as it's an awareness and being prepared. If there are going to be some dips, I want to be able to cover it at the front end. I'd always rather cover it on the front end than I would on the back end.
Meaning?
I would want to sell more ahead of time in preparation.
So do you consciously do that as you approach, summer months, work with your team to say, hey, we're going into some season, perhaps it's a little more risky, so let's try to front load as much of this as we can?
Well, I mean, plan that we're entering a vacation mode. And it differs. I mean, in Europe, there are different months that are really heavy on vacation. In the U.S., there are some months. Israel has its own set of holidays, which I'm learning all about. In fact, I was so excited that we've got one coming up. We've got Memorial Day coming up. And by the time this airs, it may have already passed, but we've got Memorial Day coming up. And I feel like it was the first holiday that we've had. Israel's had a whole bunch of them, but we do think about it. We think about, okay, they're going to be out. How do we want to front load that potentially, or at least put it into our planning?
So how do you front load things in your business? I mean, is it just a matter of, because you've got a certain lead time? What's your average sales cycle?
Depends on the segment of the business, but it can be 30 days. It's not too long, 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, still pretty short, but I mean,
and obviously enterprises months, but you definitely have a lead time. And one of my favorite quotes, you've probably heard it, something to the effect of pipeline creates confidence. So if you've got enough pipeline, then yeah, you can sort of have the confidence that you won't have the dip in those months, whether it be from vacation, summer, scheduling, somebody drops off, whatever it is.
Right. Of course, I always think when you talk about pipeline creates confidence, the similar research finding that came out in the last couple of years about 80% of pipeline ends up in no decision or something like that. So how much confidence can you really have in your pipeline?
It's just saying you'll have more confidence
than if you had none.
You'll have more confidence if you have pipeline than if you have no pipeline. That's it. I'm not saying, okay, have pipeline and then be confident. I'm just saying, relatively speaking, generally speaking, more is better. It's not always the case, but generally speaking.
Yeah. I remember back in the days when I was traveling extensively, and especially traveling during the summer. Yeah, I mean, you knew it was going to suck, right? I mean, just the inconveniences, the amateurs are out traveling during the summer.
I love that. The amateurs are out traveling. Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, do you still, I guess you don't have as many people that travel as much anymore, but I mean, those that you have, I mean, do you have any special advice for them?
What do you mean?
Well,
like, what kind of advice?
In terms of how to structure their trips. I mean, I was talking to somebody not that long ago about, they found it harder to get hold of people during the summer, but they found themselves making more single-purpose trips, and sometimes involved some fairly extensive travel. And we were just brainstorming with them ideas about how to try to make the trips more productive, or whether you just even postpone the trips until you can actually justify the travel by seeing more than one customer on a travel.
Well, I guess it depends on what the purpose of it is. If we are, let's say, in a certain stage of a deal, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's summer or a spring break. If the people are available and they want to do it, then we'll go do it. So I found if there's a project that's being worked on and if there is some critical event that you're moving towards, then you just keep moving along the plan. There's one deal that we're working right now. It's a very, very large deal, and it's not a 30, 60, 90-day deal. This has been in the works for many, many months. And it's it's a European company, and they take a lot of time off in the summer. And so even as we work with purchasing, we've planned our schedule around sort of their planned breaks.
Right.
And we just go and it was all part of the schedule that we put together with them, right, and the timeline.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you got to do that, especially as I'm dealing with European customers, that doesn't seem to be quite as hard and fast as it was, 15, 20 years ago, where, come August 1st, Europe shut up and went away, or closed up shop but went away. But there's still big influence with the vacations during the summer. So a question about summer then for you is how do you advise salespeople when to take vacation? Do you think there's an optimal time to take it?
Do they get vacation? You're assuming that I let them have vacation. Life.
Let's answer that question. Let's answer that question first. You let people take their vacation, don't you?
Of course.
Okay.
Certain things are just life events. There are weddings, and there are family reunions, and there are this group is getting together. There are things that happen in their lives. President's Club of a fiance. So somebody who works for me here, fiance, had President's Club. And so certain things that aren't, you can't change the date. You can't change the date. And so there's a certain number that doesn't matter when it is. that's when they need to take them. So they need to go take them.
So
Other than that,
you're not big about, because some companies are, and some companies are fairly rigid in trying to get salespeople to take vacations during quote unquote slow periods and so on.
No, because I think slow periods for me, my favorite times were slow periods. There was a lot that I was able to do with regards to the people who were around and preparing for the next quarter or the next month or whatever it was. It gave me some time to do things that maybe in the sort of the fast pace that I was generally in, I got to slow down a little bit. So no, I don't encourage them to go take them. I typically don't like the last week of a quarter. That's not like if you have a choice, I don't want it towards the end of a quarter.
Sure.
But I don't try to get people to take it during a particularly slow period. If it works for them, like let's say between Christmas and New Year's, which is typically slow, and it's typically a time when people like to take off. I still have to balance that though, to make sure that there are some people around, because some people still are working. So there's still a balance, but I don't push it too far one way or the other.
Okay, so here's a question that sort of more in the news about work and vacation, though it's not specific about vacation, but we've seen in Europe where there's been legislation passed that, I don't know, it was Germany, I think it was, that said that you're not required to answer emails from work after hours.
You're not required, or you're not allowed?
Well, maybe not.
Because sometimes it's not allowed.
Maybe it's not allowed. It's certainly, you couldn't be required to. So that could be two halves of the same coin. But so what, when you have people go off on vacation, what's your sort of guidelines? I mean, do you expect them to be completely cut off? Do you expect them to be partly engaged with work while they're on vacation? Sort of what's your expectation? And what do you think is a reasonable expectation?
I don't have a blanket answer, but I think about this because I went through this recently with someone who works for me who went to President's Club, and she hadn't been here that long. So it was probably a little early, just in terms of her going on vacation. It was about a week and a half. And
a week and a half after she started?
A week and a half the vacation.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And but I knew about it ahead of time, and I wanted her to go. And we talked about what the best strategy for her was going to be and what she felt comfortable with and what she wanted to do. And one of the things that I said is, don't be there, but be here. Don't be physically there, but have your mind here at work, because you're not going to have a vacation then. So if there's certain things, I would rather just have it off your plate and have somebody follow up for you and, let us know what we need to do. If there's certain calls you feel like you need to be involved in, let me know those. First of all, I said, let me know very clearly what you want to do. Do you want to take all the time off? Do you want to work? Let's talk about what you feel most comfortable with. And then my encouragement was, don't just let it sort of linger every day, because then you're not going to have a vacation.
Right.
And there may be certain times that you say, okay, these 2 mornings, I'm just going to check in, do a couple hours of work. This is when it's going to be. So I guess more than anything, Andy, I just look for clarity. I want to, different people feel, and I wouldn't mind it if she said, I'm going to totally unplug. I'm going to totally unplug. You just need to make sure you've got it covered if somebody totally unplugs.
Yeah, well, I think it was great you spent the time to talk with her, because I think too few managers do this in my experiences, is to set expectations. And as you said, if the expectation was set, hey, I'm going to completely unplug, perfectly fine. That's your vacation. But let's just know that ahead of time, that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and I think that's right. You just want, and as we were having these discussions, as I said, one of the things that she considered was that she would just kind of check in a couple times a day. And I really advised her not to do that.
No, I agree.
I just said, I think if you do that, you won't be fully present. And if you're going to go, they were in Hawaii. If you're going to go to Hawaii, be fully present, be there with be there to enjoy it. Be there with your fiance. Go enjoy it and celebrate it. But if you always feel like, oh, I said I'd check in. Oh, I need to check. Oh, let me look at my phone. You might as well not go. And I really think you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as a good sort of practice, so if people want to think about, okay, well, I just can't completely turn off, right? Is block time, just like we block time during the day to prospect and so on, I do this, just my examples, is my wife and I go to Hawaii as often as we can. But I can't completely divorce from myself from my work. And so what we do is we'll block, a couple hours every morning. We'll go out, we're going to do exercise, we'll have breakfast. And then from like 9 to 11, we work. But then we're done the rest of the day. We don't look at it. We go do what we want to do. We've taken care of it. If somebody calls or there's an emergency email or something, we'll take it. But, generally until we're back in our room after dinner, maybe we'll check email then. But we just haven't. It's been vacation. And so I think that if you feel like you can't completely, separate yourself, which is fine and understandable too, is budget that time very specifically. Not say I'm going to check in 3 or 4 times. Say, no, I'm going to check in during this time frame, and this is when I'm available.
Yeah, and I had before I joined Logs.io, I had a family trip planned, and I hadn't been at the company very long, and I still wanted to go and do this trip. But what that meant for me and the decision that I made was exactly what you said. Okay, I need to be available. I can't totally unplug, but I'm going to block this amount of time. I'll take calls as I need to. I don't mind getting up early, so I have to get up a little early to do some calls.
You're in Hawaii, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it works out fine for East Coast at 6 hours. I mean, you're going to be up at 3 a.m. anyway.
I know. Then you throw Tel Aviv in there, and then it's all
you're on your own.
Just
on that
one big. I know it's just one big mess. Like we're just on opposite sets. 12 p.m. here, 12 a.m. there. So that makes it a little more challenging. But yeah, I think you got it. I think you have to just. And everybody's different on this. Some people want to completely unplug. Some people, it makes them more anxious to completely unplug. And I'm a little bit of the latter. That
sure.
I don't like to come back and have a whole bunch of stuff. So for me, I would rather block a little bit of time
me too.
While I'm gone and go through it. But that's me. Not everybody's like that.
Right. Not everybody's like that. But it is a good suggestion, I think, for people to consider, because it is vacation time coming up. And how do you share your mind, between vacation and family and work? And, a lot of entrepreneurs listen to the show. They're like me, you own your own business. Well, just spend a couple hours. You spend those couple hours, the world's not going to end when you're out of touch the rest of the time.
Well, and I think if the problem otherwise, and I've been guilty of this and not happy also, is when my mind is at work and I'm checking and I'm looking at Slack and I'm getting messages and I'm not fully present wherever it is that I'm technically on vacation. I'm not fully present with my kids, or I'm not fully present with my family, or whatever it is. And I think it's just as best we can be fully present. When I'm working, I'm going to fully work. If it's that 2 hours that I block, but to just have the cloud following you, you don't come back very rested. I certainly didn't.
No.
So you might as well not take the time.
So when are you going back to Hawaii?
I don't have anything planned yet. I don't have any good vacation planned right now, but you're making me think of it, that I should plan some good vacation.
You should.
I know. I've got some weekends planned, but I don't have anything big and long planned. We'll see. I got to get it blocked. I'm having too much fun right now.
Yeah, but you still need to recharge, right?
That's true.
All right, so your assignment for next week.
Okay, yes. I love assignments, especially if they get graded.
Yeah, we'll grade it. We'll certainly grade it. So coming back, you're going to tell us
where I'm going?
Where you're going on vacation.
Okay, I love that.
And when.
Okay, and when. Okay, that's the more challenging one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anybody can have plans without dates on a calendar.
That's true. That's true. I'm pretty good at I'm a planner. So once I get it in my little head, I like to execute.
I like to see it and trip it.
Okay. That's even
better.
better.
Love to look at Trip It and say, oh, I get to go all these places.
I know. If only I didn't have to fly there.
Yeah, well, there is that. But some of those places I don't mind flying to.
That's true. When you're going on vacation, it's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, or even not necessarily on vacation, but as long as it's an interesting destination. I said, always good to, people don't use TripIt, heartily recommend it, pro version. Keep all your travel plans organized.
Great.
Well organized.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, TripIt's great. That's back to what you and I've talked about in the past about being in the bubble.
You think that's a bubble?
TripIt's a bubble
app? Bubble app?
I think that's a bubble app for sure. For sure. It's a bubble app.
Yeah, it could be. In which case I'm guilty. But I mean, I've been using it for several years now, and
early adopter.
I think I was an early adopter, but I travel extensively, and just invaluable because you never had to sort of like search my email to see my confirmation or so on. I just you get the confirmation, you just forward it to TripIt, and you're done, and everything's there and organized by trip, and so all the hotels, all the airplanes, all the confirmation numbers you need. I mean, it's a real simplifier.
Love those apps.
Yeah, and that one's a good one. So I should go scroll back through it again so I can daydream about vacation.
Where's your next vacation?
Hawaii. So 2 weeks Hawaii in August.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, I sort of was looking at today. It's actually going to Hawaii 4 times the next 6 months. So
must be the life. Must be the life.
Well, hey, own your business. Yeah, you can operate your business from anywhere. It's not a bad gig.
I know. I've done it.
You've done it. I know. So, all right, Bridget, as always, fantastic to talk with you.
And likewise, until next time, I like what we're going to talk about next time, vacation. Vacation and when. Don't forget.
All right, I'm writing the note to make sure that we talk about your vacation assignment.
Love it.
And then maybe we can talk about a little what your reading assignment is for your vacation as well.
I get reading assignments?
Sure.
On vacation?
Well, see, we always talk about business reading. Well, let's talk about something that's not business reading.
Okay. Now you're talking my language.
Something, for pleasure.
All right.
Free the mind up.
That's good.
All right.
I do both. I read both.
Excellent. All right. Bridget, till next time.
Andy, as always, great to talk to you.
And friends, thank you for joining us again today. Make sure you come back next Friday. Listen to us again here on Frontline Friday. Bridget, see you then.
All right. Take care.